Your calendar reminder pops up. Board packet due tonight. You scroll the CRM export, 40 columns of numbers, donor IDs, and acronyms that only finance loves. You imagine your board members skimming page 1 and glazing over by page 2. What if instead, a one-page narrative dropped into your inbox before lunch, clear, compelling, and already in your voice while you focus on prep for tomorrow's donor coffee? So, let's talk fundraising. Boards fund and support what they understand. But let's be honest, you know the sinking feeling. You've spent hours crunching numbers, triple checking charts, and aligning columns, only to watch the eyes glaze over 2 pages in. You wonder if the board's quietness signals approval, confusion, or maybe even boredom. Often it's all three, because let's face it, when reports drown decision makers in numbers, strategic conversations stall. Donor gift opportunities fade into the background, and worst of all, your carefully curated metrics, the ones you poured so much time into, fail to spark meaningful discussions. I've been there, my friend. I remember nights after an exhausting day of donor calls and meetings, wrestling spreadsheets until midnight. By the time my packet hit the board's inbox, it felt like it contained my entire week's exhaustion. Yet in my eagerness to share every data point, I lost sight of the real goal: clear communication. But clarity isn't just nice to have, it's really essential. Your board can't support what they can't quickly grasp. They're busy, like you, juggling responsibilities outside of board meetings, running companies, managing teams, and leading other nonprofits. They trust your expertise. But when that expertise arrives as a flood of raw numbers, their ability to quickly assess and act suffers. Imagine the opposite. Instead of opening a dense PDF attachment, your board receives a concise, compelling narrative highlighting precisely what matters. Each sentence nudges them toward deeper engagement. Instead of combing through confusing metrics, they see stories of real impact. They understand instantly how progress translates into lives changed, communities supported, and missions advanced. And when they understand, they act, approving budgets quicker, freeing resources faster, and stepping confidently into donor conversations on your behalf. Here's what I'm noticing. Shifting from data dumps to data-driven stories isn't about dumbing down reports. It's about leveling up your clarity. It's about translating fundraising jargon and CRM rows into insights that your board can grasp and champion. Because behind every board meeting sits the chance for greater investment, deeper advocacy, and stronger partnership. But only if your story lands clearly. Let me tell you about an organization I used to work at. It was a small nonprofit, and my predecessor had these wildly complicated board reports, and she left no instructions on how to recreate the data that she pulled. I spent 2 weeks trying to pull data that matched her numbers for my first board meeting. The CRM export alone triggered my anxiety. Hundreds of rows, dozens of columns, numbers without context. After that first rough board meeting where I said I couldn't recreate my predecessor's data, I knew something had to change. I took a step back and asked, what if my reports felt more like donor conversations? I started transforming cold numbers into short, conversational stories. Instead of reporting a 4% increase in unrestricted giving, I shared how that uptick funded 2 more families to complete grief counseling following the death of their loved one. Suddenly, the board came alive with questions, insight, and excitement. Here's the key shift I made. I started prioritizing storytelling over pure metrics. I highlighted only what directly informed decisions, using narrative to bring the data to life. The result wasn't just a more engaged board, it led to faster decisions, clearer next steps, and deeper board support in donor conversations. Now, it might feel uncomfortable to step away from exhaustive detail, and you might fear omitting a key metric. But here's the truth. Clarity drives confidence. When your board quickly understands key fundraising insights, they become advocates, they become champions, they become fundraisers alongside you. And that's when your job gets easier. And let's pause here. Think back to your last board report. What metric needed 3 sentences of explanation? Jot it down. Got it? Now ask yourself, could you have turned that metric into a short, compelling narrative instead? So how do we start putting this clarity-first approach into action? Simple shifts make a big impact. In a moment, I'll walk you through exactly how you can use ChatGPT to effortlessly create clear, narrative-driven board reports. But first, hold this principle close. Boards don't fund numbers. They fund what they understand. And clarity, clear, compelling storytelling is the bridge that connects your board's understanding to meaningful support. So let's bring clarity into practice with a straightforward workflow. Summarize, then style. This is your shortcut from dense CRM exports to clear, concise board reports that fuel action. Let's unpack it step by step so you see exactly how this plays out in real time. First, you grab selected rows from your CRM. Think donor contributions, year-to-date giving trends, key metrics, making sure to exclude any personal identifiers. Remember, data privacy is essential, and if you want a deeper dive on how to use AI tools like ChatGPT while maintaining donor privacy, go back and listen to my July 14th, 2025 episode, How to Use ChatGPT Without Compromising Donor Privacy. With your data ready, you start with a simple, clear prompt to ChatGPT. Summarize these year-to-date giving numbers for a non-financial audience in 120 words. Now, what does this accomplish? Right away, ChatGPT takes your raw, spreadsheet-heavy data and condenses it into something readable and instantly understandable. This isn't about losing detail. It's about extracting clarity from complexity. You're transforming columns and rows into a snapshot summary that your board can digest at a glance. Next, you move to the second step of the workflow, the style adjustment. You feed the initial summary back into ChatGPT with another clear prompt. Rewrite this summary in an encouraging board brief tone. Add one sentence linking progress to mission impact. What happens here is crucial. ChatGPT doesn't just rearrange words, it shifts the summary from merely informative to genuinely inspiring. This step moves your message beyond the numbers and directly into the heart of your mission. Suddenly, progress isn't just numerical, it's tangible and tied directly to your organization's purpose. To make this clear, let's walk through a live example. Imagine your initial data summary sounds something like this. This year-to-date donation increased by 5%, totaling $50,000 more than last year. Monthly recurring donations rose from 40 donors to 55 donors. Unrestricted giving has improved by 7%, allowing greater flexibility. It's accurate, but it's dry. Let's apply our second step and see ChatGPT in action. Your generous supporters have increased donations by 5%, bringing in an additional $50,000 this year. Even better news, monthly recurring supporters jumped from 40 to 55, reflecting deepening community commitment. And here's why that matters. Unrestricted giving grew by 7%, providing critical flexibility to expand outreach programs and impact even more lives. Do you hear that difference? ChatGPT hasn't merely summarized, it's crafted a narrative that connects data directly to mission impact. It's clear, concise, and compelling. Exactly what your board needs to feel inspired and engaged. But now let's be real. Your first thought might be, this sounds great, but how long does it take? The beauty here is speed. Typically, this two-step process takes less than 10 minutes, including your quick polish to make it perfectly you, and customizing it for the work your organization does. Compare that with the hours you've spent wrestling spreadsheets. It's night and day. Still, you might worry. Can a tool really capture the nuances and personality of my organization's voice? Absolutely. ChatGPT learns and adapts from your input. The more consistently you use it with your preferred tone and phrasing, the more it becomes your trusted ally, reflecting exactly how you communicate. Remember, you remain in control. ChatGPT is your assistant, not your replacement. Let's quickly revisit my example from earlier. Before discovering ChatGPT, I spent countless evenings frustrated by indecipherable CRM data. Once I implemented the summarize then style workflow, my board meetings transformed overnight. Instead of silent nods, I got engaged conversations. The board started making insightful observations, offering proactive suggestions, and demonstrating increased enthusiasm for fundraising goals. My time and energy shifted from number crunching to strategic engagement and relationship building. And there's another hidden benefit here. Think about your own feelings when you finish a long, frustrating task. You're drained, tense, maybe even discouraged. That affects your confidence when you're presenting. With ChatGPT streamlining your report, you approach your board with confidence. You speak clearly because your data is clear, and clarity breeds trust, confidence, and deeper collaboration. Before we continue, pause for a moment. Imagine your next board report completed in minutes instead of hours. What difference would that clarity and reclaimed time make in your day-to-day? How could those freed hours deepen your donor connections? This is the mindset shift I want to offer you today. Clarity isn't just about better reports. It's about reclaiming your time, strengthening your relationships, and empowering your board to act. ChatGPT becomes the tool that translates your fundraising expertise into language your board can champion, quickly, clearly, and confidently. So give yourself permission to step away from spreadsheets and toward clarity. This week I challenge you, take one small step. Grab your latest CRM export, select key metrics, and run them through the summarize, then style workflow. Notice the immediate clarity, ease, and confidence it brings. Your board will thank you. And even more importantly, you'll thank yourself. Because fundraising is tough enough. Don't let spreadsheets make it harder. Clarity is your superpower. Embrace it, harness it, and watch the transformation happen. I want to pause here, my friend, because I know what you might be feeling. Right now, you might be thinking, if I don't handcraft every sentence, every word in that board report, won't the board question my diligence? And I get it. I've been exactly where you are. Every report felt like a reflection of my personal value, proof of my commitment. And letting go of that control felt risky. You've earned your board's trust through countless late nights, meticulous attention to detail, and a relentless commitment to your mission. You've built relationships with your board not through shortcuts, but by showing up consistently, delivering accurate information, and putting the mission first. It's completely understandable that letting go, even a little, might make you feel like you're risking that trust. But let me gently challenge you on this. Is your diligence truly measured by the hours you pour into the details? Or is it measured by how clearly your board understands and acts upon the information you share? Let's reframe this together because here's what I've learned. Real diligence isn't about equating effort with value. It's about valuing clarity over keystrokes. It's about ensuring your board can quickly grasp exactly what matters most. The real mark of diligence is in helping others easily understand complex things, not just in how much time or energy that you personally expend in getting there. Think about it this way. Picture the best fundraising conversation you've ever had. You know the kind, the one that sparked immediate enthusiasm from a donor that led to a quick decision and a generous gift. Now ask yourself, did that moment hinge on sharing every single detail about your organization's finances? Or did it hinge on your ability to clearly and compellingly communicate why that donor's gift mattered? Your board is really no different. They too respond best when information is clear, relevant, and engaging. They don't need proof that you've suffered through spreadsheets. They trust you already. They need your insights presented clearly enough to support decisive action. That's the diligence that truly moves the needle. I remember when I first started experimenting with AI shortcuts like the ones we've explored today, I had a quiet, nagging fear. Am I being lazy? Will the boards see through this? But after a couple of meetings where I presented streamlined, clear narratives instead of spreadsheet marathons, something unexpected happened. Instead of skepticism, the board expressed gratitude. They said, "Thanks for making this easy to understand. Now we can get to the heart of the matter faster." It was a powerful moment of validation, one that clarified a critical point for me. Effort isn't the same as effectiveness. And while there's certainly a time for deep analysis and detail, the true measure of my work wasn't how many hours I spent, but how effectively I could distill complexity into clarity. So what if your diligence became defined by how clearly you communicated? How would your board meetings change? What conversations might become easier? How would you reclaim your time for the activities that only you can do? Building meaningful donor relationships, leading your team, and advancing your mission. I want you to sit with that idea for just a moment. Imagine the freedom of focusing your energy on conversations and relationships, confident that your reports are still clear, compelling, and effective. Imagine walking into board meetings feeling prepared, not because you pulled another all-nighter, but because you trust that you've communicated exactly what's needed. Nothing more, nothing less. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It takes courage, practice, and a willingness to embrace a new kind of diligence, one that prioritizes clarity and effectiveness over sheer effort. But the payoff is tremendous. Your board becomes more engaged, your meetings become more productive, and your sense of personal fulfillment skyrockets as you reclaim your most valuable time. Let's take this a step further. Think about one report you've recently written, one that took far too long and felt unnecessarily complex. Imagine now if you had spent less time crunching data and more time clearly communicating just one or two essential points. Would your board have noticed the reduced effort, or would they simply have appreciated the improved clarity? I suspect the answer is clarity every time. So here's your next invitation. Next time you're preparing that report, give yourself permission to trust this new diligence. Use the tools we've discussed today. Experiment with concise, narrative-driven reporting. Let go of the belief that your value is directly tied to the hours spent crafting every line. Because the truth is, my friend, your value to your board and to your mission is far greater than your time behind a spreadsheet. Your true diligence, your real expertise, shines brightest when you guide others clearly, decisively, and meaningfully. That's the kind of diligence that fuels fundraising success. Today, we've explored why narrative beats numbers every single time when engaging your board. We've unpacked the powerful yet simple summarize, then style prompts that transform data-heavy reports into clear and compelling narratives. And together, we imagined a board packet that inspires meaningful action instead of glazed over eyes. Now here's your simple but powerful next step. Grab a doc, label it Board Report Shortcuts, and copy down those two key prompts. First, ask ChatGPT. Summarize these year-to-date giving numbers for a non-financial audience in 120 words. Then follow up with, rewrite that summary in an encouraging board brief tone, add one sentence linking progress to mission impact. And here's my challenge. Pick just one KPI, just one metric from your last report, and test this out today. Seriously, before the day ends. See how many minutes or even hours you reclaim. And then DM me in LinkedIn. I genuinely want to celebrate your win with you, because every minute you take back from spreadsheet wrestling is another minute for your mission, your donors, and let's be honest, your family and your life. Next week, we're diving deeper. this time into prospect research without the rabbit holes. Have you ever lost hours down a research rabbit hole chasing elusive donor details? Tune in next Monday because we'll explore exactly how ChatGPT can surface powerful giving clues while you stay mission focused. Until then, remember, clarity beats complexity, effectiveness beats exhaustion, and your real value shines through when you communicate clearly. You've got this, my friend. I'll see you again real soon.